Explaining simple domains in Jujutsu Kaisen, and shout out to IDK for the comment. So simple domains are a barrier technique, and barrier techniques are all throughout JJK, and all that means is you are imbuing cursed energy into a barrier to serve some purpose. Domain expansions, for example, are a barrier technique, and simple domains originated as a defense against domain expansions. However, it has continuously evolved, and so now it's not only used defensively, but it can be used offensively as well. So let's go over these things. First, let's take a look at an offensive simple domain, and for that we have Miwa. So as you can see in this photo, she has the barrier around her, and she has imbued that barrier with a binding vow, stating that she won't move from this spot, but if anybody enters that domain, she will be able to cut them down far quicker than she normally would be able to. But like I mentioned, simple domains originated as a defense against domain expansions, like we saw Toto utilize in Season 2. So how does that work? Well, to start, we need to quickly go over what a domain expansion is. And very simply, it is a barrier that's been imbued with a user's curse technique that in most situations guarantees that curse technique will hit whoever is within the domain expansion. So what a simple domain aims to do is negate that guaranteed hit effect by creating a barrier around the caster that will interfere with the barrier of the domain expansion. Now, this interference will buy the caster some time because they're no longer being guaranteed hit by whatever the effect is. However, they're still within the domain, so this isn't a permanent defense because eventually the domain expansion is probably going to overpower the simple domain and destroy it, and then the user is just going to be right where they started. An analogy I like to illustrate this is to think of a domain expansion as the vacuum of space and a simple domain like a spacesuit. If you go into space with just as a human, you're going to have a bad time. It's going to end very quickly for you, just like if a sorcerer enters a domain expansion with no defense. However, if you go into space wearing a spacesuit, you're going to be okay at least for a little bit. That's kind of like what a simple domain does.